Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss now, man. I'm boss up here.
Hold your dicks and rub your tits.
You'll be ice cold.
Here come the Cool Boys.
Just a young boy.
So cool.
So cool. So cool.
Oh, Cool Boy.
Greetings, Cool Boy Nation. Welcome to another installment of the Cool Boys podcast.
Oh wow.
What? You say wow?
I'm just doing my classic ballad underneath noises.
You know what they say? Stuff it. I'm Walder Felk. Horrible character, Walder Frey.
Yeah. And I'm Ballad of Tarth.
You got the fuckable character. Oh.
So cool.
I have to say now, huh?
Yeah, you're
We don't I didn't used to say we had a guy for that. Well, cool boys, I don't think we can get any more introductory than that. Time to move on to our Cool Boys show topic, is what I always like to say.
Yay!
Report preliminary findings.
Not worried about her. You gotta keep him guys.
Cool Boy Nation, pop your cocks and drop your tops.
It might be interesting and important for you to know.
It's time for our Cool Boy show topic.
Hey, I like that.
Spoilers. So cool. All right, this is gonna be a fast episode.
Yeah, I know. So we let's do it. Let's get down to 30 minutes, whatever.
Dude, I'm fine. I'm finding this one's quick, the fastest and the easiest Game of Thrones fucking spoiler cast out there.
You needed 90 full minutes for fucking discussing the bigger Luke theory, but when it's time to discuss all 80 episodes of Game of however many, like 70 something
Yeah.
episodes of Game of Thrones,
Something.
30 minutes is enough.
Not enough.
No, it's
83.
more than enough.
Isn't it 83?
I do not remember the episode count.
Wait.
If you look at my TV behind me, you see I am up to The Wolf and the Lion on my rewatch because I'm doing a full rewatch, and I'll sprinkle in some Chernobyl in there. Maybe what else is on fucking HBO? I don't know. Just whatever I need to watch on HBO. Then I cancel HBO forever.
Forever? You're not going to watch his Dark Materials?
No, the fucking polar bears who wear helmets. I can
my
watch
God.
the fucking movie for that.
The movie's horrible,
The movie's
though.
barely watchable. I think I got 26 minutes.
Barely watchable?
Oh, polar bears. Wasn't the polar bear like voiced by Ian McKellen?
Ian McShane, I think. Maybe both.
I'm pretty sure Ian McKellen voiced a polar bear.
And I
in the movie.
think Ian McShane voiced the other polar bear.
Sounds
Look
fine.
it up.
Oh,
Look it up, Phil. Look it up. Look it up.
What's the name
We
of
have
the
to
movie?
find out.
Oh yeah, The Golden Compass.
Do we have an Ian Mick off? A me and Nick off? McGee, you have something to say about this?
It's gonna be tough to know who's a polar bear by the screen name. Yeah, Ian McKellen voiced Eric Byronson.
Of course.
And Ian McShane as Ragnar Sturluson.
Oh, yeah.
It just says they're both voice characters. I don't know if they're both polar bears.
Oh, they're both polar bears, all right.
Kathy Bates
Ursa Major.
voices a jackrabbit demon, which are spelled Damon.
Yes, it is pronounced demon. It is spelled Damon, and it is a creature that attaches itself to you and protects you at all costs and is one with you. And my wife has one. It's our little dog, Bailey, our corgi. She is my wife's demon.
Okay, well, so you say that, but I don't want to talk about Golden Compass, but I do now have to ask, now that you said that, what is the difference between just having a pet, which is what you're describing as a corgi, and a daemon? I don't like.
Well, I have two corgis.
Oh,
and
they
one
can
is a
talk.
pet.
They can talk. Your dogs can't talk yet.
One, yes, Bailey can definitely talk, and Baldwin, the other corgi, cannot talk. Now, Baldwin is a dog. Baldwin is a pet. Bailey is much more. Bailey is connected. Bailey has soulful eyes. You look at her, she talks. She understands commands like almost on like the second or third attempt. She learned moonwalk by her third try of doing it. Like literally, I have it on like film. I put it on like YouTube or whatever. It's She is just like one of those kind of dogs. You met Bailey, Felk. I mean,
You're
Bailey.
describing a well-trained dog, though. You're not describing a supernatural
here's
being.
the thing. When my wife was pregnant, Bailey knew every time first. In fact, I knew something was up the second time because of the way Bailey was acting, and I remembered it being the same way she was acting the first time.
I don't. That's one thing I don't like about animals. Like cats can't like smell cancer and shit like that. It's like
That's crazy, right?
hey, let us know.
Oh, my favorite part about cats is they'll eat you when you die.
I mean, any animal will eat you if it gets hungry enough.
Cats, especially.
Well, yeah, but cats. The thing that freaks me out about cats is they go for eyes and tongues first.
Yes, and fingers and toesies.
Yeah. What are we talking about tonight? Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones! It's over!
It is over.
And Cool Boy Nation, by the way, we did an extensive episode, episode 30, A Game of Cool Boys. Horrible title, great episode with our special guest star, Cool Boy Steve, Felk's favorite. We call him an FF. And we had lots of CBAs, Cool Boy Antics, that entire episode.
You make it sound like I hate Steve. I don't hate Steve.
I did not say that. I said he's your favorite, a Felk favorite.
Oh,
FF.
you said it's like favorite. You said the most sarcastic way possible.
It's a Felk favorite. It's a cool fact.
Sarcasm can be difficult for me. Do you remember the first time you found out about sarcasm? I can tell you. It was when I was a little kid.
Worse than the first time you showed me your dick.
Don't get us off topic here. I have showed you some dick, but not all of it. No, it was.
Remember when Nolan showed us most of his dick, and he pretends like he only showed us like a little bit of his dick, but he like showed us his whole dick.
That was like it was like 2/3. He's pretending it was 10%.
I saw full head.
No, I need to talk about the sarcasm thing. It was Back to the Future when I was a little baby boy, Felk, and Marty sees the car he needs to go on the
Fuck
date.
you. It is a baby boy Ballard.
And it's crashed because Biff borrowed it. And he goes, "Great, just great." And I knew what great meant. I'm like, why is he saying great? It's bad. And I was told about this thing called sarcasm.
Oh.
And ever since, I associate sarcasm with Marty McFly. And Parkinson's. All right.
So Felk, we should
All this is staying in.
No, wait, no. Well, come in on laughing. We should both just start laughing.
No, I don't.
That way. It's always better coming in on laughing. Wait, no. Countdown. 3, 2, 1. That's too funny. Well, we should get back to what we're here for. Game of Thrones. So after Cool Boy Nation, you've caught up with episode 30, A Game of Cool Boys. You can come to this episode and figure out what happened since season 7 on tonight.
You know, there's actually a fair amount of predictions in that episode, and had I cared more, I would have re-listened to that episode.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it either.
and been like, oh, did we predict this right? Did we predict that right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember what we said.
I don't know.
I know I talked a lot about my theory about like the mechanics of what type and size of planet Game of Thrones takes place on, and maybe how it's really a moon. And that wasn't addressed at all. Nor was the notion that dragons are from another planet or perhaps another moon. None of that was addressed.
Nope.
Bran became king.
Spoilers.
I did not see that coming. I'll put spoilers. Spoilers for Game of Thrones. All of it. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about every episode. We need structure for this. I liked it when the dead dragon's fire was blue instead of yellow and orange, like normal fire. Blue flames have higher oxygen content usually, right? And that doesn't really make sense other than it looked cool. And ice
fire.
But it burned. It wasn't cold, or was it?
Ice fire. Too cold. Too hot.
What did you think about Game of Thrones? Did you like Mad Danny? Crazy
Matt Damon?
No, Mad Danny.
Oh, Matt Damon.
Did you like Matt Damon's cameo in Game of
Well,
Thrones?
you do know everyone did think that the season 1 opener, the cold open of Game of Thrones, is Matt Damon.
Yeah, there's a dude who looks like Matt Damon. There's a guy who looks like him.
Yeah.
I don't remember who. I just watched. Like I said, I'm up to like episode 6.
Well, let's start there, actually, Felk. Let's start at season 1. Let's do a like it, love it, gotta have it of seasons 1 through 7, and let's
then we're
get
done.
into 8.
And then we're done.
No, we'll get into 8. We'll get into 8.
All right.
So season 1, like it, love it, gotta have it.
Gotta have it.
Yeah, gotta have it. Absolutely. It was amazing. It was something that I tuned in onto, like without really knowing what it was, just being excited about it being a fantasy show that was R-rated on HBO. I did not follow the books. I am not a book reader. I have never read any of the books, and I was blown away. And I was blown away by the plot twists, especially of Eddard being having his head cut off, being executed. And Daenerys actually, being the mother of dragons, and legitimately there being dragons.
This is
a lot of supporting characters were killed, and that was a really fucking amazing season. And it set up the stakes that the show was going to be different.
Yes, I should establish. I streamed all of season 1 after it had aired, and after I think it was Sean Bean getting in that bar fight, where I was like, oh yeah, that show. Maybe the show's cool.
Really?
And I watched, my roommate at the time, Cool Boy Corey, had watched each episode of season 1 as they aired because he really liked Sean Bean. Huge fan of his character from Clear and Present Danger, I guess. And I asked him the questions about it because I was like, I might just stream it because I had some days off. And he thought it took place in like England.
Wait, did you talk about this in episode 30?
He didn't think that I asked him, like, was it a fictional world or is it like real history? And it's like, I think it's fictionalized, but in the real world. Wow. And then like much later, he's like, oh wait, there's dragon eggs.
Yeah. Okay, so that's like the only season you could probably make that mistake with.
Yeah, because in the second season, there's actual dragons.
And it's like, very fantasy oriented from that point on.
Yeah,
with witches. Even season 2 starts with witches and whatnot, right?
It is starkly weird to go back to season 1 after season 8 and just like it's so much cheaper. It's very set bound. Green screens aren't even like done particularly well.
You know what's even weirder, Felk, I think actually, is when you go from season 1 to season 2, how weird season 2 feels.
Yeah, it's a different show. Season 1's a different show. It's got a different main character.
Season 1 is a different show for sure. It had different like shots. I mean, John has brown wolf fur on his black coat marching beyond the wall, and then the next time we see him already beyond the wall in season 2, it's all dyed black. Like, because it's just like they were figuring things out.
They were definitely figuring things out in the first season.
But season 2 is not a good season. And it is very awkward.
Yeah, it is.
And it feels, when you're watching the show back, having seen, like, say, most of the show up to seasons 8, and then, like, rewatch seasons 1 through 7, like I just did. Like, I just rewatched the whole series before season 8 aired. And you get to season 2, you're just like, whoa, this feels awkward.
Yeah.
And the whole season does feel awkward. And then season 3 feels like, okay, we've righted the ship again.
Yeah, season 2 is I'm not even looking forward to it on my Game of Thrones final watch and done marathon, because it's everything with Dany losing her dragons for the entire season and looking for them and whining about them. It just ends with her getting her dragons back and she gets ships. I don't remember much of what happens in season 2. I think Arya's like walks all season or something. From one point to another. Season 2 is the walking season. It's the fucking Lord of the Rings movies. It's everybody's going to a destination, and it takes them 7 episodes to get there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes, it is a lot like that. Arya's not necessarily walking. I think she's like,
that might be season 3. I don't even remember.
She's riding with the Night's Watch and stuff like that. And yeah, a lot of characters are journeying around. I say season 2 for me is a like it. It is not the best of the best. It's definitely not my favorite.
I'll give it a love it.
Love it, really?
Well, season 2 is where I realized how dense the world is. And season 2 is also when I started reading the books. And I read books 1, 2, and then I attempted to read book 3 before season 3 started. And didn't care for it as much because
I'll tell you what. As a rewatch, felt season 2 is better.
Okay.
It's
Well,
like when you watch
move
it
on.
live, it's not the best. Season 3, I say you gotta have it.
I will also give it a gotta have it. Season 3's low point is well, I mean, it's almost the entire season of Theon getting tortured, and all those scenes are just ugh. They're unpleasant, but the Red Wedding's fun. Like once you've accepted the fact that those characters really didn't have anything more to do, it was funny that it was so shocking to people, even though the book came out in like 99 or something. Yeah, season 3 introduces dragons actually being used as weapons. They actually finally do something like significant.
They did at the end of season 2, technically.
They burned one guy.
Yeah, one guy.
Yeah, I mean a candle can do that too. Season 3, they're actually flying and torching a city, and it is kind of dumb when you look back on what happens. That Dany buys an army with dragons, then says, "Dragon, come back," and then says, "Army I just bought with the dragons, kill all the people I just bought you from." It's like, it really, can you just buy an army? Like, is it that easy?
Well, in Essos or whatever it's called, or Essos, yeah.
No, in like in reality, I don't think you.
This is not reality. You got to separate.
Well, that's the thing, is that the Game of Thrones, like its whole thing was, it's fantasy shit, but it's in a real world.
I don't think that guy planned on selling every single Unsullied. Like, that was weird to him that she wanted them all, right? I mean, like he didn't want to do that. He wanted to sell her like a small fraction of his army. He had a whole army here to sell. He sold them off as like your own secret service, I guess, or you know what I mean, like your own, you know, boys to follow around with you.
Well, they try to even like Jorah is like, you know, like, oh, one dragon's worth way more than 8,000 soldiers,
and we know that to be the fact after season 8 for sure. All right, well, season 3 has the Red Wedding, and that's just the biggest fuck you moment there is. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that the episode that also has the season has the wall climb?
Yes. I like the speech that Littlefinger gives at the end of that. I still kind of feel it as a personal mantra, and that you know, like all these villains, like the Joker he's the bad guy, but when he's selling chaos, he does a really good job of it. And Littlefinger's speech is also about chaos. Chaos is chaos isn't a pit; it's a ladder. And it's just like, how come good guys don't use chaos?
Well, if you kind of think about it, Bran did.
And if I use chaos, can I not be a good guy?
I think Bran may have used chaos in the end. If you think about it, we can get to that later. But like, I love that speech, Felk.
He does repeat that line back to Baelish in like season 7.
I love that speech.
Yeah. I also like Rose Leslie as a little fire crotch wildling. She was that's her name, right?
Yeah, her name's Rose Leslie, and her
Mrs. Kit Harington.
But I don't think you see her bush in it. Though.
No, but I mean, you have to assume.
Yeah, for sure, of course. Yes,
my mind can go there.
Yes. So moving on, season 4. Also, gotta have it. I love season 4, and I love it for everything. But that penultimate episode of Watchers on the Wall, or whatever it was called, Battle of the Wall. I forget what it was called. Oh my god, amazing episode.
So
Neil Marshall.
I'm a big fan of Neil Marshall is I think an excellent director. I'm sorry about what happened to you, Neil Marshall, with the Hellboy situation, but obviously he's good. He seems to like just doing big episodes of TV shows.
Yeah, and Battle of Blackwater, even though season 2 was not necessarily my favorite, that was a great episode.
You saw the movie that got him that, right? It's called Centurion with Michael Fassbender.
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah, it's great.
I think
I
think Centurion's awesome, and like that proved concept of like how you do this on a budget. Like they brought him in because like, how do you do these kind of things on this type of budget? And he knew how. You can't bring in a Michael Bay.
I love Neil Marshall. Dog Soldiers is fantastic.
Dog Soldiers is fun, but
Doomsday's great.
My issue with Doomsday's a hell of a weird movie,
and I'm sure people will laugh at this, but I think The Descent is a masterpiece.
I do too. I love The Descent. Didn't I get you on The Descent?
You might have, and my wife loves it, and it's one of her favorite horror films to never want to watch again.
Yeah, well, don't watch The Descent too. But
I have seen it. It's horrible.
It's horrible. The Watchers on the Wall. My only problem with it is that at that point we had already fucking been well established that the wildlings are just people who got fucked by being on the wrong side when the wall went up to prevent.
No, that's not necessarily what makes them so scary. Is just that they're people. The Thens are not just people.
Well, the Thens are cannibals, right?
Yeah, and they're scary as fuck. I mean, yeah, they're an additional evil force when you mix them in with your band of good, quote unquote, good character wildlings that are going to go against the Night's Watch. The Thens are what's like the evil army, the evil force that you're going to root for everyone to kill.
I think my problem was that I didn't really care if they won or lost, either side.
Oh my god, I was concerned with everyone's risk in that battle. I mean, I was like, was Sam gonna get taken out? Is Gilly gonna get taken out with the baby? Is John gonna get taken out by by Rose? Is Rose gonna take out Kit? I didn't know.
I am not looking forward to Gilly. I'm not looking forward to Gilly. To have
Gilly?
to go through all the Gilly episodes again.
Gilly's not bad, honestly.
No, she's not bad. It's just boring. Like Gilly is just a boring plot.
See, I think when you rewatch it in binge mode, it's a different show.
It is.
And it's not like you don't hanker so much over those moments. Yes, when you're watching things episodically, it is different and it has different weight when you watch an episode and you have to wait a week. Then you're like, every minute is real estate that you want used and used properly and to its fullest potential. And that isn't always the case. But when you watch it back in binge, it's like, all right, I actually don't mind these stories. Like these stories that I did not care for or I thought were like, oh, where's this going? I actually liked them more.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it definitely feels like season 4 had a lot of filler. I don't really remember the episodes other than Watchers on the Wall in season 4. That's a lot. There's a lot of Bran, right? Bran doing his above the wall thing. I
think so, because then he's like gone for a whole season, which
he's
is
gone for
next season.
Yeah, he's gone for season 5. I don't remember what happens in season 4 that much. I don't remember what Danny does. I don't remember what anyone really does in season 4. I remember Tywin gets killed.
Slaver's Bay. Danny's all Slaver's Bay at that point.
Yeah, but like, what's the progress? She has it at the beginning of the season.
She's moved from like whatever. There's the 3 different cities. She's moved from one to the next. I think season 3 is mostly her dealing with the first city, and then seasons 4 and 5 are like the second cities.
Yeah, well, no, season 3 is the one that ends with her, a single white female getting praised by all these fucking brown people.
Yes.
That everyone.
Oh, and then it's like she takes over her city, and then it's like she has to run away from like the Sons of the Harpy, and then she comes back and takes over 2 seasons. After a season later, takes over two cities.
Sons of the fucking Harpy.
Because she has to go and deal with the Dothraki for a bit. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Season 5.
So season 5, and this is a love it, and it's because the show is now expanding itself. We're seeing the show kind of fill its ranks in more, and I'm fully throttled in. I'm fully bonered in, and I can't wait, and I'm coming.
Season 5 has I'm gonna say the best episode of the entire series, Hard Home.
What episode?
Hard Home.
Hard Home is absolutely one of the best episodes of the whole series.
Is it the best?
Because it has that moment.
I think it's the best.
You think it's the best?
The best, yes. Do you not?
It might be a tie for the best for me, and I think that my favorite might be an episode in season 6. We can get there, but Hard Home for me is great because it's back and forth. You're bouncing around like all the different narratives, as you do through a normal Game of Thrones episode. But you get to Jon, and then there's a point where you're like, hey, hasn't this run on a little long?
Gotcha.
And then it's like, oh, wait, there's a big old storm coming. Okay, we're going to cut now. And it's like, oh, wait, the storm is here and now it's dead people. Okay, we're going to cut now.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then the dead
it goes
people hop
bottle
over
episode for the last 30 minutes. I just
Right, it was amazing. It was incredible.
More
and that's when
importantly,
you
which
met
episode is
1-1.
it? Which episode is it?
It's episode 8.
Exactly. They trained you to think the big episodes were episodes 9.
Yeah, the penultimate.
But 9 and 10 are kind of boring of that season, as I recall. Arya gets on a ship.
I actually like those. But my favorite thing about Hard Home is you're introduced to 1-1.
You love 1-1. I don't know why.
I love 1-1. And when
He's not a character.
they yell for 1-1 and they say 1-1 to the sea or whatever, and he's just charging behind them carrying a burning fucking log, and there's all these fucking like whites on his back stabbing at him and shit, and he's just taking it and he's just whacking others. It's an amazing shot. It's beautiful. I love it. It's my favorite character, and it broke my heart when he died in the following season 6.
Yeah.
I have to say, season 6, gotta have it.
Yeah, remind me what the overall plots of season 6 are. I thought I
Season
remembered,
6
but when I think back, like I remember the characters and their backstories, but I don't remember what happens the majority of season 6. That's I
So
know
a lot of
Arya's
that's
training,
like-
right? Arya's
Yeah.
getting spy skills.
Arya's doing that, and Sansa's moved around from like from the House of Aaron, up in the what do you call it? That fucking giant.
No, season 6 is where they kill Roose Bolton, right? Or is that season?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So
No,
that's
Ramsay
okay.
Bolton. Ramsay.
So the parts of season 6 I really love and gotta have the most is the episode 9 of season 6, Battle of the Bastards.
Okay. Yeah, that's the big
All that led up to it with Roose being taken out by Ramsay. I do love all the other shit, of course, with Sansa and Arya, but like for me, Battle of the Bastards and I would say Hardhome are my 2 favorite episodes of the whole show. I really love those episodes, and I thought Battle of the Bastards was just absolutely breathtaking, and I no pun intended, especially when we're watching the suffocation moments when you're seeing him like just buried under soldiers, dead soldiers, living soldiers, fucking wounded soldiers. It's insane, and Jon is like dying. His lungs are being fucking are collapsing under the weight, and you feel it as an audience member. And I never realized that aspect of medieval battles.
Weirdly, that is a medieval battle with nothing supernatural in it. I don't even
Other than a giant.
Other than the giant and I guess there's a dire wolf there too.
Well, the dire wolf's not in the show, but it was apparently in the book, or it's going to be in the book. I don't know how that works.
No, I forgot there was a giant there. Okay, well, I guess
that's the battle 1-1 dies. He dies in that battle.
That's how 1-1 dies. Okay. Then,
Yeah.
wait, the zombie giant is not 1-1 then.
I don't think it's clear, but if you really kind of thought of it out, like
If he died in
if
he died in Winterfell, then no.
Yeah, they probably burned him, right?
You only turn if you died north of the wall.
No, they raised the people in the Battle of Winterfell. Remember
That's
that?
after the magic protection of the wall has been broken. As long as the wall is up, that shit only works north of the wall.
So as we're gonna get into season 8, this is maybe some of what we're gonna discuss. Is that there's parts of it that are like, what is the show set up and what are book readers know?
The whole thing. This is just me observing the mechanics from the show, but to what we were talking about, the whole thing where if you die and aren't burned, you come back as a white WIGHT. Not white person, it is like that emanates from the Night King's power, or at least the White Walker's power, and that emanation doesn't go past the wall, because the wall is built by magic, not by mechanics.
But isn't it in season 1 where they bring whites back from on the other side of the wall and they like check them out, and then one turns alive and like almost kills Mormont and
That's
Jon?
not north of the wall. That's at Castle Black, which I think still counts as the north. And also, I think the whites can go south of the wall. They won't be if you die, you won't become a white south of the wall.
Wait, but they captured a white
Yeah.
on the other side of the wall before the wall got torn down.
Yeah.
And brought it to Cersei, and it's still alive.
It was turned in the north.
Oh.
It was turned in the north and then brought down to the south. That's okay. I'm saying that if you die in the south, you don't come back as a zombie. Otherwise, this zombie thing would be a huge problem throughout the show. It'd be the fucking Walking Dead.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, it kind of was. That's one of the things I loved about it was early on, you're like, oh, like, I think that's how season 2 ends, right? With Sam essentially hiding from the giant army as it approaches the hand of the first men or whatever.
You see a White Walker in the very first scene of the first episode. You see a white, which is just as a regular zombie, in a later episode in season 1, which I'm looking forward to. And then you don't see one again until the end of season 2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's fucking bold, I guess, just to call it that. But like, this is not a zombie show. It just happened to be a show where the main threat was in the background growing.
Yeah, true. So getting to that zombie threat growing in the background, season 7, we hit it full on with like some major episodes near the end of the series. or near the end of the season, excuse me. I love season 7. Love it. I gotta love it.
I'm gonna give that the middle one, which is like it. No, love it. Yeah, love it. Now I gotta have it. I'll give it a love.
Because I honestly don't hate anything. I don't hate a single episode of Game of Thrones.
Me neither. I don't hate any of it. I absolutely do think. So let's just go through it. Seasons 1 through 5 are based on the 5 published books, and they stretch that out to season 5. Season 5, the last thing that happens in the last book that's published is Jon Snow being killed by the other guys in the Night's Watch.
That's my understanding.
Which ends season 5, right? Yes.
Yes.
So
season 6 begins with Jon being woken up by Missandei, or no, Melisandre.
George R. R. Martin has the most recent book, I think, called The Winds of Winter, is pretty much done and ready to publish any day now. And that's what, and I'm sure David Benioff and D.B. Weiss have a copy of that. They have the cliff notes.
Daniel.
That's where is that what DB stands for?
Well, the D in DB is Daniel.
That's because why they're Dan and Dan. Or
David and
Daniel, whatever the fucking names are. They're billionaires. Who cares?
They're making the new Star Wars movies.
Fuck off, Disney. You don't get to have everything. What was my point? They had the general outline of what one more book would, and they ran out of that book clearly making season 7, and the quality. People say the quality drops, but really season 7 is just like people start being able to like teleport. Like they leave for Winterfell from King's Landing, and then they're fucking in King's Landing the next day. Whereas that used to take 7 episodes. There's way less filler. It feels like they're just going through the meat of it. Season 6 has like the hold the door shit, where we find out that Bran accidentally made a little boy named Hodor retarded through time travel.
Love it. That's a beautiful moment.
That's direct from George R. R. Martin. Like that. Like nothing in season 8 really, or the latter portions of season 7 really come to that level of quality. And when they ran out of George R. R. Martin, I thought you could tell that their dialogue didn't quite have the gravity, because the dialogue is almost always straight from the book. Sometimes they repurpose it. Sometimes they take omniscient narrator stuff. It's not omniscient. It's all told from like first person, and it switches character perspectives. But like they give background through dialogue that they used to just put like tits on screen so you'd be interested. And,
I love that.
They ran out of any kind of exposition to do, like once they ran out of the books, and it's noticeable, and there's less world building, but that's fine.
It is noticeable. It is, and especially like I said, binge mode. Absolutely, it's even more noticeable this time around.
Season 6 had like stuff from the published books that carried over, because Euron Greyjoy doesn't appear, I think until season 6. And in the books, he's really popular because he's like a warlock and fucking crazy. But the TV show just made him into a fucking goth pirate, and I never understood why the show thought that character was good or interesting.
Yeah, well, getting into season 8, I mean, he isn't, and he's still, and then he doesn't do anything cool, and then I mean, I guess he does something cool, but just doesn't. It feels forced upon his character to do, and then he just kind of hangs out a little bit and then dies, honestly. So season 8, let's get into season 8. Season 7, I love season 7. I did start seeing, I guess, cracks in the wall, no pun intended, actually pun intended, but I really just, I didn't care. I still love the show, and I was like, yeah, I get it. It seems weird. They're flying real fast around and zippity doodah, and boy, Gendry can run real fast as a crow flies, and then Daenerys and Drogon, and like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, it's forced, but it's just like still narratively, I had fun and I was enjoying it, and I didn't really care. I didn't get wrapped up into it. It wasn't until after the episode aired and you looked up shit online and people were like, oh my god, the physics, the distance, and you're just like, you're like, okay, I get it. Yeah, you're right.
I looked it up once because I was just like, how far is Winterfell from the Wall? How far is Winterfell from King's Landing and so forth? Yeah, it's all pretty accurate. I think the Winterfell to the Wall is like here to Vegas, and if you think about it, like how long it would take to get there on horseback, it'd be days. But then if you got a dragon, flight there's like 55 minutes.
So first season, like it makes it seem like Robert took like a month to get home from Winterfell to King's Landing, and you just assume he fucked around a lot and hunted and shit, right?
Yeah, they stay and they go on vacation and stuff from the trip.
It seems like though Braun and others, when they're traveling back and forth, it's about a 2-week period.
Sometimes it seems like it's a 2 or 3 day period.
See, okay, yeah, and there's points where like Dragonstone and like where it's based around, people are like, people are just zip-zapping around Dragonstone. And I mean, Dragonstone essentially is an island that moves, based for the plot's needs, and then like that's where it's placed in the ocean. Like, because I mean, people like get there too fast from King's Landing. Apparently, people get there too fast from Beyond the Wall. Apparently, so whatever. But that being said, moving into season 8 again, I'm sure it's full of fucking shit and cracks and horrible moments. However, this is the season that had actually 3 major fuck ups in a row. Episodes.
You're talking about the Starbucks. It doesn't matter which episode. You're talking about the Starbucks cup and the water bottles.
Yeah, 7, 6, and 5. So 5 was the Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
6 was
Sneakers.
Jamie's hand is no longer the golden hand. It was just normal fucking Nicholas Coster.
Also one of the like featured extras is wearing sneakers.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. And then the final episode, it's like Sam has a water bottle clearly behind his chair.
So does Edmure Tully. There's actually two actors both in different shots had water bottles.
It must have been hot where they were filming, but like it's just like one of those things you're like, no one caught this in post and like just mapped him out real quick, like nothing in post.
Yeah.
Wow.
The show was done.
Surprising.
It was done fast. Let's just get to the big episodes really, because the first.
Well,
one's
here's
just,
season 8. Well, look, we're in season 8, right? So
Yeah. All right, let's
like
do
it,
this.
love it, gotta have it.
Love it. No, like it. I'm gonna like it.
I love it. I love it, just like season 7. Same thing.
Okay, let's go through the list of things that people are mad about.
Okay.
I did not have a problem with Mad Danny. I called that, I believe, around season 5. It was
Nice.
whenever she's maybe even 2, but like I always thought that was a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know if I called anything really, to be honest.
I'd
have to go back to listen to episode 30 to even see what I posited on that show. But I don't care. I don't think I think I missed everything. Or if anything, I guessed. I think I was wrong.
Well, she does burn people alive in like season 7, I think.
Yeah. Oh no. You know what I did guess? I guessed that it would all end in modern day Manhattan, and it would be some old homeless guy with a sign that said like "Winter is coming,"
Yeah, that
and then
didn't
like
happen.
a rich couple would walk by and be like, "Oh, it's starting to snow early this year," and as a snowflake falls.
Yeah, none of that happened. There wasn't a big. Oh my God, the world was actually a blank. It's just. They did something I thought they would do, which is pull the kind of Breaking Bad route of having the big episode 3 episodes before the final episode. I guess with Breaking Bad
4
is 2.
episodes,
It's 2.
technically.
Well, the Breaking Bad is 2, but Ozymandias was the real finale, and the long night.
Thank you, Ryan Johnson, by the way, for a wonderful episode.
Yeah, just don't let him write scripts. Ryan Johnson's not a bad director. Just don't let him write.
I thought he helped. I thought he helped with that episode.
He directed it. He did not write the episode.
I thought he helped with the writing. I thought he also helped with the writing for Fly.
I don't believe so. But if he did, again, he needs a supervisor. Someone to.
Well, he did.
Kathleen
Vince.
Kennedy.
No, Vince.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy fucked up. Just do whatever. Just do whatever.
Vince is an incredible fucking writer. Clearly.
He's like, hey, Ryan's like, oh, hey, Kathleen, I did. What if I just killed Snoke and turned out he was like nobody? And Kathleen's like, who's Snoke? What? Get the fuck out of here, nerd. Go make the movie.
Felk, you missed the sound effect. It would have been more like this. What? Who's Snoke?
Why does Kathleen Kennedy have a coke problem now? Is that a thing? Is that a thing?
No. I just was clearing my own nose.
Oh, is that her and Carrie just doing coke? Two 68-year-old women doing coke together.
Look at us. We're just two 68-year-old women doing coke together, allegedly.
So the big episode was the White Walker attack, which I was excited about because I always thought it was going to be dumb because you got three fucking like Ganny has like three F-16s, and the White Walkers are all vulnerable to fire, so it seemed like a pretty fucking one-sided.
Yeah, but it wasn't three F-16s or F-18s technically, because you were thinking about fighter attacker, right? So you want your air support and your air to ground support. But so you want the Hornet. But the point is, Felk, it was 2 on 1, and I did think I called that part. I think I said like
you called Ice Dragon.
I think I called in our episode our spoiler cast podcast episode Game of Thrones. I think I called that like. Essentially, the whole Night's King or Night King would be over by the end of like episode 2 or 3, and like it would just be like figuring out Cersei for the rest of the season.
That's what it was. Yeah, the Night King. They got rid of the big threat of the series. I have a problem with the fucking White Walkers. The show, the whole point of the show is, everybody's a moral gray. Nobody's pure. Ned Stark's the most pure guy in the world, but the first time we see him, he's fucking cutting a guy's head off for running because the guy ran away from a monster. No,
because the guy broke his vows.
He broke his vows, but he was scared because he saw a White Walker, when he agreed to go the wall, probably everyone thought was a fucking fairy tale. So everybody's morally gray.
He slightly believed him.
Good and evil, or just shades. Fucking, even if the character is pushing a kid out of a fucking tower
window
to kill him, he might end up being a good guy, kind of.
The things you do for love.
Everything's gray. But there's fucking ice zombies, and they're evil. And they're just pure evil. Nothing good about them. All bad. They're fucking Sauron. They're fucking the bad guy. But it's like that's like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars level of morality in a show that's a morality play about how there is no concrete morality. I thought for the fucking longest time that there was going to be some fucking twist that made the White Walkers like
relevant,
not good, or relevant certainly, but I thought like morally not corrupt, because we never see what the White Walkers are doing when they're not fucking planning their goddamn invasion of the South. Like what happens?
You also don't understand their invasion.
Let's say they won. Let's say the Night King won.
What is winning for him?
Westeros,
Killing Bran?
What?
What is winning for him though? Killing Bran?
I think killing Bran and taking over pretty much all of Westeros, like taking over King's Landing. What happens then? Like what do the zombies do once they fucking have everything? We never see them not killing. Like I thought the whole twist was going to be that they
take up day jobs.
The characters, exactly. They raise families. They fucking They create art. They make movies. And maybe someday evolve into
That's
human
the twist.
beings. That's
They're
the twist.
us. We're the zombies.
I thought the coolest ending for the show. This is my personal fucking fan fiction. I almost said gay fan fiction, but you know what? Nolan's not here, so I don't have to make him laugh anymore by saying everything's gay.
Don't worry about. We don't do Nolan episodes anymore. Great.
Were you gay enough that episode?
Anyways, I thought the ending might be the characters who survive, the relevant characters who want to have a happy ending, sort of go to Essos or maybe just the Iron Islands, where they're safe because water, and the Night King sits on the Iron Throne, and we just have this like lovely montage where you see like a zombie like playing with his fucking zombie kids, and a zombie guy riding a horse and tilling to his zombie soil, and it's just like they are peaceful. None of them are at war. None of them are scheming or planning. It's like when Ellen Ripley like acknowledges that she doesn't know if Paul Reiser is worse than the aliens, because the aliens aren't fucking each other over for a percentage.
For a percentage, yeah. Felk, I think you're right. And you know what would be really great is if like it ended and like one zombie is like sitting in the backyard, male zombie, with another male zombie sipping on lemonade while some little kid zombies play in the grass. Yeah. Right? And like one of the male zombies is like kind of like, I think we did a good job, Dan. And then the other zombie's like, it's like, yeah, we did, David. And that's when like the wife comes out with some more lemonade. Goes, any more lemonade, boys? And then the David zombie goes, no thanks, Amanda. And then they look at their little boy, and their little boy who's got a giant beard and he's super fat and clearly has diabetes. And they look at him and they go, hey, George R.R., you all right? And he's like, doing just fine, Dad. Right. And then that was the end. And we had like this
you
great
took the
ending.
joke. I don't know who Amanda is, and you took the joke further.
Amanda
than it needed.
Pete.
Amanda Pete. Is one of them married to Amanda Pete?
David is, yeah. Betty.
Oh. She's got good tits, but not good teeth.
She's got good everything.
You've seen the whole 9 yards, right?
Of course.
Phenomenal tits.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Full frontal.
Funny movie, too. Even though it felt
Yeah.
like you were paying for an episode of Friends.
Worst posters ever, whole 9 yards and the whole 10 yards. It is an example of like different body doubles and then they just splashed like heads on them.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What are you talking about? Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Well, okay, how about this? Let's get into some shit that we liked at least about this season because let's face it.
I like
this
Danny
season-
going crazy. I like Danny
There's
going
a
crazy.
lot. There's a lot to hate. There's a lot to hate this season. But what was your favorite episode this season?
Okay. I thought the long night was a huge disappointment because the whole thing was I was excited when the Night King got himself a zombie dragon because then he could fight the other 2 dragons. Aerial battle over a battlefield of zombies versus humans. But the whole thing was a muddled mess. It lacked that Neil Marshall direction. I don't know if it was the same guy who did Hard Home or
No, it was Miguel.
well, he probably had a lot more time to play on Hard Home. It shows. Just the episode felt poorly executed. The dragon battle is you can barely tell what the fuck's going on. It's impossible to follow. By the way, watch How to Train Your Dragon 3, and you can make a dragon battle. It's really good. It's so good.
I can't wait.
It has a very good like cap to the series too.
Well, then let's do a spoiler cast where we discuss all of them because seriously, I love that series.
I do too, unabashedly. And it's relevant to Game of Thrones because it's got dragons and Kit Harington.
Well, then maybe, he shows up in episode movie 2.
And he's in the third one too.
Well, of course, but he shows up in movie 2.
Making he makes the series 100% more Kit Harington-ier.
And gives a couple of the girls some characters to love.
Yeah. Were we on the season 8?
We're talking about favorite episodes. My favorite episode of season 8.
Crazy Danny. Crazy Danny's my favorite episode.
Yeah, me too. The bells.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. And you know, and sure, whatever people hated or whatever, they create their whatever fan fucking theories that Bran was actually Drogon and he went crazy and Danny didn't control whatever. I don't give a shit.
Oh, the evil Bran theory. That's an actual thing.
Yeah, I don't care. Mad Danny's fine with me, and she, you know, she has slowly been set up to be a little crazy. I mean, there have been moments where they've shown her like she enacts her justice a little too fast and with a lot of force.
She crucifies a lot of people.
Let's just say cruel and unusual punishment is not something she follows, you know, like she does that. She is all about cruel and unusual punishment.
I mean, what kind of person would root for someone to be crucified?
I mean, she also is all about immolation.
I'll take that one out, I guess.
Sure.
Jews.
Jews, the Greeks, the Romans.
Technically the Romans. But not if you watch Mel Gibson's movie.
No, for
It's
him,
the
it's
Romans.
for sure.
I know,
It's the Romans for
Mel
him.
Gibson's a good person. Let's just leave it at that.
He kind of just makes it seem like the Jews had a hand in.
Really advocating for it. I'll cut all this out. So
Danny's all about immolation as well, and that's kind of frightening, I would just say.
Yeah. But in general, her thing is burning people to death, and her father was ousted because he got too into burning people to death. So
I love that she died by Jon Snow or Aegon Targaryen's hand in the same spot Jaime Lannister took out the Mad King.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
fitting death there. And the Mad King is one of those characters. He's been dead. You never see him. He's never played by anyone.
You do see him, and there is an actor that plays him.
When
Bran does his visions and he goes through
okay.
his montages, he shows up a few times.
I'll look for that. That's interesting. I didn't realize that I picked it up. I remember Rhaegar.
Okay. There are moments in that montage that were scenes that were clearly shot for later because they show up later in the series. I think that montage happens in season 6 or 5. I think it's 6.
Yeah.
And I think it's near the beginning of 6, like episode 4.
It can't be 5. There's no Bran in 5.
It's the episode after Hodor, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. You see,
That's 6.
it's that whole episode that begins with all the flashes of him downloading all the history, and you see these flashes in season 6 that lead to season 7 and 8 moments. Like there's a moment where you're watching Drogon fly over King's Landing. You see a shadow cast across the buildings that is directly pulled out of Bran's vision in the season 6 download.
Okay. Download. I get what you're saying. Okay.
It's amazing. I was blown away because when I saw that shot, I didn't even tell my wife because I would pause that download at one point. Like I went frame by frame and I was like, oh my God, that's the shot.
For me, okay, let's go back to season 6 and Dany. We'll get into Bran just a little bit, but yeah, the Mad Dany, people are upset about it. I felt vindicated because I did not think they were going to go that way, just because the show let people buy into Dany so much. So you had the Hillary Clinton memes of another recent female politician is really upset because she kept like comparing herself to Dany. I forget which one. I want to say Kamala Harris. You had
what?
Yeah, she was all like, I'm just like Daenerys Targaryen. I'm breaking the wheel, and then she's like, oh fuck, Game of Thrones is bullshit now.
Wow. See, that's okay. So I know people who are like, we're naming our kid Arya or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, that's great. Well, Arya turned out okay.
I remember being like, you should probably wait to see a character's full arc before you name anything after them.
Yeah, also a person.
Because it would be really horrible if you saw like this great story about this wonderful soldier in World War I who got injured and went to a hospital and then picked up like art and then eventually found his way in speech therapy and then like nailed speeches over and over again and everyone loved him and you're like, I'm going to name my son Adolf.
Yeah.
And then it turns out in 10 more years that guy becomes a psycho that kills 6 million fucking people.
Adolf
and
was
you're
like
just like,
John
oh
or
shit,
Steve.
I named my child Adolf based on the guy in the beer garden.
It was a very common name, and he just completely
destroyed it.
Yeah, killed that name. I forgot what I was going to say, but it doesn't really matter anymore.
Schindler's List.
Oh yeah. It also just like, okay, the ones where like people identified with the character, that's outside the show's control. But do you remember the fucking Oscars where Emilia Clarke introduced something about the Ruth?
Wait, I just want to be clear. I'm not like pro Adolf Hitler or anything.
No, Ballard is very anti Hitler. It was in the Oscars or Golden Globes. Emilia Clarke is introducing the Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary, and she compares Ruth several times to Daenerys. She says like, Daenerys Targaryen has got nothing on her, talking about RGB. And she's like, if you ever need to borrow some dragons, just give me a call. It's like, did Amelia not know her character's arc was going to end up with her being Dragon Hitler? Or I guess not Hitler?
Yeah, I think so. Because there's an interview she did before the season 8 aired, and she was just like super awkward when people were like, Daenerys, like, tell us what happens. Like, oh my God, is it you enjoy the show? She's like, can't say anything or whatever. And they're like, is it a good show? It was a good season. You enjoying this next season, this final season? She's like, best season ever. And she has like these weird eyes.
She did not like it. I don't think she was against Dany being evil. But you know, she got contracts, so do what the D&D say. You know.
That's right. D&D.
And so be it. She did act very good as evil. Yeah, she was fine.
She crushed it.
It was kind of what's the Domhnall Gleeson? Kind of reminded me of that.
Donald
Gleeson.
It's like donut. Trying to say donut, but don't drop the T, add some L's, and then say Gleason.
Donald Gleason.
Donald Gleason. Good
enough. In them Star Wars movies, because she was a little like over the top, but then
for me,
if you watch,
I did not feel that way.
If you watch video, not that I constantly watch video of Mussolini, but like actual dictators talk like that. They're fucking
like
really
Dwight,
big
like Dwight Schrute.
Yeah, he's just learning speech tips from him.
But wait, no. Let me address this for a second.
Her acting wasn't that over the top.
I disagree. I agree that Donald Gleason as Hux right? In
Yeah.
fucking the Last Jedi and Force Awakens,
Especially in Last Jedi.
comical.
Especially in The Last Jedi.
Oh my god, especially Force Awakens, it's comical.
Yeah.
It's comical. He's comical. He's comical when he's doing his speech in The Force Awakens before they blast the entire Starkiller gun.
But
Okay,
he's not the dictator. He's just like a general. You know, it's weird that
Yeah,
he's giving
exactly.
these like insane speeches.
yeah, people are like, Jesus Christ, let Hux go, huh?
Yeah.
Anyways, I actually bought Daenerys, and I love Daenerys' character in this. And for me, I have to say, I would say maybe most of the show, my favorite character would have been like, I don't know. I really liked Arya's arc a lot in the end. I really liked John's arc in the end.
I have no
I
problems
like the
with
Hound's
Arya.
arc in the
I have
end.
no problems with Arya getting the Night King.
But Daenerys,
death either. I think that was earned, but it was executed incredibly poorly. Like,
but Daenerys is my favorite character, I think, this
she
season.
teleports behind him.
Who?
Arya, she teleports behind the Night King. It's that whole episode's poorly directed.
Daenerys is absolutely, for me, my favorite character this season. But Arya is maybe my second best. And Felk, I loved Arya in the Battle of Winterfell. And one of my favorite things about the Battle of Winterfell is there's a moment where Jon is trapped by Viserion, dead Viserion, undead Viserion, whatever, Ice Dragon Viserion. And he's going to die potentially by Viserion. And he sees something in the corner of his eye. And you look and you can notice that he looks at something. And that's the moment he stands up and he puts himself right in front of Viserion. And when I first watched that episode, I didn't know what the fuck he was doing. I'm like, he's going to commit suicide, I guess. He's just going to die. And he just screams something. And I didn't even know what he was screaming. And that's it. And then it cuts to, like, you know, Arya all of a sudden killing the Night King.
Yeah.
But on second viewing, he sees Arya duck out behind Viserion, essentially, and he knows he has to distract Viserion so that she can get to the Night King, and he yells, "Go for it!"
He yells, "Go for it!"
So I think so. And
I'll turn on subtitles when I get to that part. I'm not
then
skipping
Arya
ahead.
like runs apparently, and that's when she like does that swift run past that one watcher or whatever they called, White Walker general, and fucking like just dives past him. He doesn't even notice her. That's why he feels that little whiff of hair goes past.
I guess.
And then she just comes right at the Night King.
I just
love
thought
Arya.
she should have used a more clandestine manner of attack, because that seems to be more what she was trained in, was
pretty
covert
clandestine.
infiltration, not jumping out in the air screaming.
She wasn't screaming.
She wasn't screaming. She was silent, but whatever.
How dare you, George Lucas,
How does-
adding Luke screaming back into fucking Empire for no reason.
I don't know. I didn't know. I thought the episode was poorly directed as a whole. Getting back to
it was. I agree.
the
And it
dragon
was not
fight
what-
was like so poorly, visualized that you could not tell what was going on.
But Felk, the bells, the episode you and I both thought was our favorite episode. This
Tell what
season,
was going
season 8.
on in that one.
Miguel still did that episode as well. He did both.
Well, he maybe had more time. I don't know. It's daylight. That helps.
There's some weird inconsistencies in the Battle of Winterfell when, like, the Dothraki, for no reason and without anyone calling them to arms, just fucking jet out into nothing and die by the hands of darkness.
I like that. I like the way their lights went out little by little. That was
It was beautifully done, but strategically it was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Who would send out into like death without knowing what they're riding out to, and who called for that? No one called for that.
I don't know. Maybe it was John's plan.
No one said anything. Melisandre shows up and she's all like, "I'll light your fire swords," and then Jorah's all like, "Let's do it!" And everyone's like,
I wanted
"Whoa."
her to do more, by the way, in that episode, because she
just died.
She brought someone back from the dead, and yet she basically just like has the value of a bunch of gasoline and a Bic lighter in that episode.
Yeah, and then she kind of gave Arya a little bit of a clue, right? She's like, brown eyes, green eyes,
She gives a
blue
pep talk.
eyes.
She gives a pep talk.
Blue eyes. Okay, what was your favorite house this season? And did you have any? I enjoyed the Starks because I just love seeing the Starks finally come to full power. I like seeing that as the last 3 seasons have taken place. You've seen the Starks rebuild, and I love that.
I do like the lesser houses because Daenerys basically gives Sam the Tarly, like all right, you're the head of the Tarly household now, and then it's like, Gendry, you're the head of the Baratheons now, and then she fucking dies, and like the next day that council has fucking 2 people that she appointed who just became in power. It's like, well, we're not gonna take that one back. We'll say she was bad because of the fucking burning children, and innocent people in the streets, but her promotions were solid.
They were beautiful promotions. Big characters. That's why.
I like Gendry. I like how everyone's all freaked out because Rob and Aaron got hot and no one realized that was him.
I knew that was him. Of course I knew that was him.
Yeah, man. Breast milk fills you out. He has good bone structure.
It was more obvious that was Rob and Aaron than it was that Ty Sheridan was, or not Ty Sheridan, whatever the fuck his name is. Whoever that kid was. Ty Shipkin. Yeah. Who was back in the end of Avengers Endgame. You're like, what the fuck is this kid? Well, because
he went through
Tony Stark's
he went
funeral.
through a weird puberty. I thought that was a girl. I was like, is that a girl? What is that?
Yeah, at some point you're just like, who's this college graduate, fucking from liberal arts. I really enjoyed the Starks this season. I'm happy.
How did whoever arranged Tony's funeral even know to invite him?
Yeah, who was it? Yeah, it's a Happy figured it out somehow. Nick Fury figured it out.
I don't know. Let's wrap up season 8.
You know what I loved about the Starks in the end, honestly, also was the final few shots in the season finale, in the series finale, when you saw all the Starks like going through their day to day, and you saw like Sansa's now Queen of the North. You saw that Jon became King Beyond the Wall. And then you saw Arya going on where was she going? I guess to the west.
She was possibly to sail off the edge of the planet. If it's a flat Earth, it's a flat planet.
Is it supposed to be a flat planet based on the books?
Well, it just bothers me that what's west of Westeros? Nobody knows. All the maps in there. Like, what? This is supposed to be the 12th fucking century. Like, despite what a lot of people think, no, Christopher Columbus was not the first person to sail across the Atlantic. The Vikings did that like 100
Eric the Red
AD. So, it's like the fucking Isabella, the Queen of Spain, did not think that Columbus wasn't going to was just going to sail off the fucking edge of the flat planet. They knew that there was something else over there. He was just trying to find a better passage to India. And it's like, what's west of Westeros is fucking the east coast of Essos. It's like, if it's a globe, and if it's not a globe, seems like someone should have figured that out a long time ago.
My guess is that it's just a giant ocean, and then it's Essos.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's how planets work. So.
True. Very true. What was your favorite storyline this season? Or that was either capped off throughout all the seasons, or that just occurred this season alone?
I'll say this. Watching season 1, the first Stark you meet is Bran. And he gets way more attention than I thought he did. And so maybe it was more telegraphed that he became king. I'm going to pay attention to... I don't know if this is my favorite storyline. Definitely actually isn't. But I want to pay attention more to Bran's storyline and how it's capped off in season 8. Because now I know he's a much more important character than I thought he would.
I think that's everybody.
In the long night, I was like, what is he doing? He goes into birds, and then he just is doing bird shit, like, for the entire fight. It's like, if he can warg into animals... Well, bears would help, like there's ways he could have helped in the battle. So yeah, I'm going to pay more attention to what Bran is and does now that I know about it, to find out if that matters. Every other storyline was kind of.
I think most people really are going to do that, Phil, because I think everybody wants to know what Bran did. But do you think it's possible Bran can warg into Drogon at this point?
Oh, you want to go into evil Bran theory?
I don't know. Is that continued evil Bran theory?
So okay. The evil Bran theory is that Bran is evil and is possibly the source of the Night King or Whites, or became the source when he became the three-eyed raven.
I doubt that's true now.
I don't think it is either, that he manipulated Drogon to make Dany more burn happy. And
I heard that one. I heard that too. I don't think that. But do you think it's possible moving forward that now that just Drogon's out in the world, that maybe Bran could somehow find Drogon, get powerful enough to warg him back and take control.
See, that's the thing. Who cares what happens after the show ends? There's no show. I don't care what happens after that, but I do.
The show ended like with the cyclical sense that like I felt like we were going to get another show, right?
Well, we are getting another show, but it's a prequel.
Well, yeah, but didn't you feel like you're going to get another season?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like an ending.
It didn't feel like, and I think that's on purpose, and I love that about it too. And the fact, I love that the small council just took off again, and it was just here's another small council with all the great characters in there, and you're like, oh yeah, this is awkward that it's just the same and it isn't different, but I like that it is that. It's the George Lucas poetry.
Yeah,
you know, it rhymes and it comes back.
Hey
and
man,
it's cyclical.
I walked out of Revenge of the Sith, fresh-faced 22-year-old me, and was just like, I can't wait to watch A New Hope.
Yeah, I didn't. I came out of Revenge of the Sith hating it. You were gonna say so. Bran is someone you want to go back and rewatch the whole series with, but who's your favorite storyline?
That's tough. See, I don't know if I had a favorite storyline.
Well, I would say for season 6, my favorite, I would say for season 8, my favorite storyline was Arya's.
Mm-hmm.
Like just kind of watching her.
You're asking favorite storyline for 8 though, right?
Just 8. No, however you want to play it. But for me, season 8, it's Arya. But if I watch the whole show back, other than Bran, to me, it's like as an editor, I want to edit a long Dany version, and I want to edit a long Jon Snow version, and I want to edit a long Arya version, where you follow their characters throughout their entire story, and cut it down, or I don't know, or leave it long as it is. But like, I'm really intrigued by those 3 characters now the whole show's over. Like, I really loved their stories as a whole.
Okay. I mean, now we know that Dany's the arch villain of the show. It'll be it's more interesting to like watch her scenes where
it's like watching Vader grow.
Yeah. I guess. Yippee!
I like the idea of watching a monster grow. I like that kind of stuff. It's fun.
Oh yeah. Well, like when he's now this is pod racing.
Yeah, that evil little bitch.
you can just like, oh yeah, in fucking two movies he's gonna be killing kids or younglings.
Let's try flipping. That's a good trick.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite of the mini. Well, not there's so many Star Wars memes, but just the ones of like when Obi-Wan's given the lightsaber to Luke. It's just like this, like the one is like your father wanted you to have this being grafted into the scene at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Like, I hate you. Also give my lightsaber to my son when he's old enough. It's like
you were the chosen one.
Or just there's like one of just Obi-Wan saying, Luke, like, oh, your father wanted you to have this when you're old enough. He murdered 30 kids with it. It's like he had a dark fucking past, and that's not really addressed because that wasn't Revenge of the Sith was not in George Lucas's brain.
Yes, it was. I think Revenge of the Sith was probably the one that was the most in his brain because it was even written in like old Star Wars encyclopedias and shit that like Vader was created in or Anakin died in a volcano.
I don't think A New Hope was made with the intention to ever make Darth Vader Luke's father. I think that was.
That I don't know. That I can't attest to, of course, but I can say that like once they got into like writing canon, it was very clear that Vader or it was Anakin who was created in a volcano. That was all shit that was written in.
Yeah. But I think all right. Let's get back to God of Thrones.
So Fel,
Game of Thrones.
You can't answer storyline. You don't have a particular character storyline that you preferred or didn't like. But is there an aspect of season 8 that you liked or didn't like a lot? Dead air.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a tough question. I'm thinking about the question.
It's not like it's live. Thank God.
Exactly. I'm just going to edit all this time out or maybe leave it in. Not really. Season 8 was kind of a disappointment.
So, but you still loved it, you said.
I thought I said I like it.
Did you say like it?
Maybe I said like it. I'll change it to like it. Now that I can't think of a favorite aspect of it.
All right, well, this is getting...
I like that I was right. I like that I was right about Dany being evil. I like that they didn't, kowtow to this weird swell where, like, third wave feminism got, like, thought Dany was, like, a good mascot for us. Like, they were seeding the darkness in her as early as like season 1, where she gets off on fucking seeing her brother's head melted. Like,
how now, brown cow?
I don't know how that line's relevant.
What's your favorite death?
In season 8?
Season 8 and the series as a whole, both.
Season 8 didn't really have good deaths. Is the
Oh, I
catch.
thought, I would say Danny's death, just for the poetry.
Yeah, I guess Danny's.
She died where the Mad King died. That's amazing.
Danny's was right. Like Viserys,
and she was finally penetrated again by her lover.
Varys was like a disappointing. Like, I know he didn't have anything else to do, but it's just like, I guess his being burned did like really convince Jon and Tyrion that she was gonna be a problem.
For sure. But he was also the moment where you're just like, I don't know if they knew what to do with him anymore as writers.
They didn't. They was like, get rid of her. I like that people are pissed off about
nothing about Varys' death or his last few scenes felt natural to his character at all.
I like that people got pissed off that Missandei got killed. It's like Missandei got killed. Like, what else did you need her to do? Like, she was 2 episodes left. She's been in it since season 3. She fell in love with Grey Worm. Grey Worm lives. He's still got no dick.
And he's gone to Narth, man. Beaches of Narth.
Grey Worm was the only dickless character of the 3 dickless characters in the show who survived till the end.
All right, well, what was your favorite death out of the whole series then?
Hodor.
Hodor? Yeah, that was
Hodor is really evocative and like it really makes you feel. Bran accidentally made him retarded his whole life, and then used him to survive to get away from zombies.
Which is also a very specific scene that shows Bran can time travel.
And also apparently affect the past, but he never uses that again.
Well, or did he? Or does he?
Well, yeah, no, it is in the sense that everything he does already happened. So he can't change the present based on affecting the past. So anytime he wargs, he already had done it. Because he also makes young Ned Stark like turn when he goes father or dad or something, and he turns. It's like, well, I guess he always turned and just thought it was the wind.
Yeah, I guess
he didn't.
It makes you think about a lot of moments in your own life, huh? I
not
really.
at all.
Oh, me all the time. I'm constantly like, say something to everybody.
Time travel.
What? Who you calling a psycho?
Also, we can say this about Hodor, and we know this. He's got a huge cock.
He does. Giant's blood.
Yeah.
I have to say Hodor is a strong second.
You know the actor who plays Hodor is a gay DJ, right?
Yeah, I knew that. Yes. So Hodor
He's a giant.
For me
It's fucking crazy.
He is. So Hodor for me is a strong second in the death. Yes, Felk, it is impactful. It's evocative. It is so fucked up. It is the second time maybe in the show or the third time in the show. Yeah, it's the third time in the show where I was like, oh, fuck me. I feel like shit watching this. The second time I would say is the death of Robb Stark, Catelyn Stark, Robb's pregnant, wife or whatever, or fiance. But
Charlie Chaplin's great granddaughter.
Is it really?
Una Chaplin.
But I would say Ned dying. That's huge.
Granddaughter.
Ned dying in episode 9 of season 1 is just like such a fucking kick you in the nuts moment.
What's your favorite death in season 8? Then Danny.
Yeah, I said it was Danny.
Okay.
Yeah, Danny dying in the throne room where the Mad King died. I thought that was awesome.
Okay.
Also, I would say the Mountain and the Hound.
Yeah, that was good. In fact, that might be my favorite aspect for season 8. It was that they gave us Clegane Bull.
That was amazing, and I loved how they took out Qyburn in the process.
Yeah, Qyburn, I always thought there was more to him. I didn't. They just not really. He was just a mad.
But he dies.
He was just
the
a mad
Frankenstein
scientist.
way.
He was a mad scientist.
And Frankenstein, right? He dies by the hand of the monster. Same thing.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I loved how Cersei just skirts little by, like, oh, don't mind me.
No, yeah, that was a weird comedy moment.
All right, well, let's get into kind of where we are with characters that we haven't touched upon. So,
can we just end it?
No. We should touch upon. We never talked about Tyrion or anything like that. Really, we should touch upon him a little bit here,
all right.
just a little bit. We're not gonna get crazy.
We can touch Tyrion. I don't have much more to say. We're good. I think we're.
Did you like how Tyrion survived, or did you feel like he had like what people refer to as plot armor?
No, he was. Peter Dinklage is the main character of the show. The show has a main character. It's obviously him. So.
I found it a little convenient. He found his sister and brother a little too easily.
Also, there was no rubble like 30 feet to the left. They could have.
Yeah, and it showed like the whole like basement cave in.
Yeah, they that was dumb. The entire building was falling on top of them, but no, it's just like 7 rocks.
Yeah, 7. All right. I like Jamie as a character a lot. I always kind of loved him. I always thought he was gonna redeem himself, and I don't know if
he really
like,
doesn't
ever fully redeem himself. And he kind of just ran back to the woman that was his poison.
Yeah.
Sad. And then they died.
Don't fuck your sisters.
Yeah, don't do it.
Or aunts.
Yeah. And I thought Brienne was dead. I thought Brienne Tarth was gone for sure.
Yeah, why did she have to live? I guess because they're going crazy together. You need to have at least... They tried to like, look, Arya's killed the Night King and Sansa's Queen of the North. And Brienne's... still a knight, I guess.
She's the head of the Kingsguard.
Kingsguard, yeah. So that's
and that means that she pushes around King Bran in his wheelchair for the rest of her life.
No, that's Sir Podrick's job.
Was that Podrick?
Podrick got knighted. He's the one pushing him around the chair. Also, yeah, it was awkward with everything with Jon going. We didn't really talk about Jon either. Being told, like, hey, you gotta join the Night's Watch again. And he's like, is there still a Night's Watch? And it turns out, no, not really. There's not a Night's Watch. The wildlings have taken over, so he's just going to live with the wildlings.
Oh, yeah, so they just don't know that down in King's Landing there's no Night Watch?
Well, all that really matters is that Grey Worm thinks that he's getting some kind of punishment because Grey Worm didn't like that he wasn't getting any kind of punishment.
So wait, so the guys...
Even though Jon Snow is the rightful heir, if you're going by line of succession from Aegon Targaryen... he is Aegon Targaryen. That don't matter. Bran, who is the actual rightful Lord of Winterfell, is now the king because he's got a good story. His sister Sansa is now the Queen of the North, even though because the North pulled a Brexit and is now its own sovereign nation,
its own realm,
even though its rightful heir is the king of the what would be the 7 kingdoms, but would be the 7. So that doesn't really make sense. Also, wouldn't Jon Snow have to go through the North on his way up to the Wall? And at which point, wouldn't everybody say, "Hey, Jon, you're still king in the North, right?" Because as far as we know, you're still our king, and we're still a sovereign nation.
Not once you become remember that's the whole point of becoming a Night's Watch or whatever. Like you relinquish all titles and all claims of land.
Yeah, so he'd say Bran, who's your lord, is now king of 6 realms, and then his sister, who's not really in the line of succession. Well, I guess she would be next because Rickon's dead. And also,
I also think they gave up on Jon.
Bran can't father children, which Sansa like basically announces to the council. It's like, oh, he can't father children because his dick don't fucking work. That was a weird statement from Sansa. If Jon's going up north to get the Wall, and he's like, oh, I can't be king because I took the Black again. They're like, there's nobody there. It's just
the North don't want Jon back. They don't want him back.
They're mad at him.
They made that clear. They're all pissed off about Dany. They're like, all right, fuck you, dude. Well, we want Sansa then.
Yeah, but I mean, Dany didn't blow up Winterfell. She blew up King's Landing. They're fine with that.
But the North don't trust. They just don't trust anyone but Northerners.
Jon Snow is a Northerner.
Yeah, but he brought a fucking foreigner, and they're just like, fuck you now.
I guess. I don't really care. Jon doesn't seem to really care. He's gonna go do wildling shit now. And
Bronn made it out pretty nice, huh?
Yeah, Bronn's rich now.
And he's the king of Highgarden, or the Lord of Highgarden.
Yeah, they all got shit. It's really easy when you kill off 80% of the characters you introduce over the course of the series to There was like the last 2 episodes had a lot of promoting from within. And, I really admire any company that promotes from within rather than bringing in an outside hire because oh, you're too important at your current job. We can't promote you. We're going to bring somebody else in. The show didn't do that. It didn't bring in Jeff or let's say
You're always good at Jeff.
Let's bring in Captain Jeff in the second to last episode, and then say, "Oh no, Captain Jeff, he's the most important character and powerful character in the Seven Realms, and I love Captain Jeff.
Now. I hope he can fly in space without a helmet."
Yeah, and Captain Jeff's like, "I could easily put on this gauntlet and fucking solve all this shit, but I ain't gonna because of female empowerment." All right. Can I end?
No, because Captain Jeff isn't willing to let him lay down on the line and take the sacrificing play like maybe someone named Tony.
All right. Well, that was the fucking best Game of Thrones discussion ever done. Did you have something else you needed to add? I don't want you to be mad at me if you have something else to say.
I'm good. We got through it all.
Okay. Ever. Fuck. Watch tits Baywatch.
Woo!
Cool Boy Nation, tell us what you thought about Game of Thrones, a series. In case you haven't had an opportunity to express your opinions on Game of Thrones on any social media site or in person, maybe reach out to an obscure podcast and let us know how you felt about Game of Thrones or your opinions about the final season by emailing us at thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com. New episodes come out every Tuesday. Be sure to like and subscribe to The Cool Boys and review us on iTunes.
Please.
Or whatever Android has for podcasts. Review us there too. I don't know what our score is there. Maybe
no one does.
Maybe it's got to have it. We don't know. You can also donate to us on Patreon.
Gotta own it.
At patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. And while you're at it, please check out our other great Cool Boy Central content with Batman and Beyond on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. I don't know if there's been recent episodes of that. It's been a while since I've seen one. Bat Centrals. Just going, where's our episode? Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. Till next time, it's Byzies. I'm Walter Frey again. It's Byzies from Walder Frey Felk.
And
Walter
that's
Felk.
Byzies from Brienne Ballard of Tarth. Ballard of Tarth.
I was trying to think of other F's in the Game of Thrones.
There isn't.
Well, there's the Free Folk.
There you go.
I'm Free Folk Felk.
Okay, yay!
You are outstanding American boy.
You have excelled in all things.
I pump while I dump. Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah. So cool.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Get out of here, damn silly. Get out of here!
Oh, yeah.
This episode of the Cool Boys podcast was brought to you by...
By the way, can you see this? See this on my forehead? You can't. I when I was leaving for work, my VR cable, because I used my VR headset, was on the ground, and I was like, "Oh, my Roomba's gonna suck it up and run over it." So I lean in to coil it up, and I bang my head on the hard glass side of my custom PC case.
Ow.
And it hurts really bad, and I'm hurting the entire time I'm driving to work. But then I start thinking, like, my grandfather started working at a cotton factory when he was like 15.
Yeah.
And did that for years until he was drafted to go fight the Nazis.
Yep. 12 years a slave.
And in my story, that's a little past our grandfathers. But I'm complaining about cutting my fucking forehead on a PC case.
White privilege, right?
Yes.
Get some
Cool boys.
So serious.